Hello guys, welcome back to Mallikarjun channel. This is Mallikarjun. In our previous videos, we have seen couple of topics on grid infrastructure installation and configuration, and we have already created our grid infrastructure clusterware setup, and also we installed RAC database binaries, and we created data disk group and record disk group. So in this today's session, we'll start with our RAC database installation and configuration. That is 12.2.01. First of all, we do this run Clufy dbconfig check, and then we'll start with the run installer. So before I get started the today's session, if you are new to my channel, always go back to YouTube and search for Malik034, and then please do subscribe. If you like my videos, you can please share, like, and comment. And if you missed out any of my previous videos, you can always refer it in my YouTube channel.
So let's go with the Oracle home creation. So you have to check this particular grid home bin run Clufy stage pre dbconfig fixup nodelist and -d Oracle home -verbose. So that will give you whether you are all set for installing your RAC database or not. So in case of any issue, you have to do this run Clufy stage post checks. After you grid installation, you have to do some of the post checks, and it will list out if there are any issue with your grid setup. And that sometimes if you want to create your RAC database, that time you will not be having that RAC database option. That time if you run this particular post checks, it will give you what are the issues with your clusterware setup. So right now I'll go with this particular dbconfig Clufy check. Grid home is going to be u01 app 12.2.01/grid bin run Clufy stage dbconfig fixup -nodelist. You can give nodelist comma node2 -d Oracle home. You have to give your Oracle home -verbose for the detailed output. Right, I can run this particular script. I already set it here. Grid home setup, grid home environment setting is set here. I'm running this here, and this all Clufy check and all you can always find it from this Oracle document. You can see, right, run Clufy stage post CRS install if there is any issue. Run Clufy stage post CRS install node1 node2. All this command you can check it out here. Setting up server pool option. Right, it is all started doing all the checks here. You can see all this. Run Clufy. These are very important script. You have to make sure whenever you are installing your grid infrastructure installation or RAC database installation. So this Clufy check is very important, and you have to fix if there are any issue reported with this Clufy check. You can see verified time zone consistency is passed, because as I said, I'm not using NTP, I'm using CTSSD. Verifying node connectivity is passed. Okay, so it is checking all this failed checks. Okay, and it created the fixup script here. What it says, like if you go here, the overall status, the pre-check for database configuration was unsuccessful on all the nodes. The first one is node 1 and node 2, both node. The grid does not belongs to the group OPER, right? That's the first thing. And the second thing is DGDBA on this node 1 and node 2. This particular DGDBA is not belongs to this one, and also the backup DBA. Grid does not belong to that backup DBA, and again grid does not belong to RAC DBA. So for that, and then check failed on these are the things, OPER, DJ, and backup DJ. So these are the fixup script. You can run it. I can cancel this one. This is on node 1. Okay, so similarly I will log into node 2 here only, and I'll run the same script. Right, done. So I'll go back and I'll click enter. See, execute this as a root user and node 1, node 2, and then fresh enter here. Right now it has checked only those fail checks, and it was successful now. So this is how you need to run the Clufy check, and now you are good to start with the database installation. So for that you need to go into your Oracle home user one app, Oracle product 12 to dbcfg under bin. This is the binary location, and you have to check your dbca, and this is dbca binaries. You have to run this one. That's a GUI mode of installation of your database. You can also use your manual method of database creation. User does not have appropriate privileges, right? So what privilege it is? User and app Oracle CFG tool dbca. So this particular directory Oracle user does not have a privileges. So let me go here, CFG tools. These are the good learning practices, right? So if you get the issue, then you will be more confident once you fix the issue. User on app Oracle CFG tools, and dbca. Where is dbca? Dbca here, it is owned by grid user, so I will give full permission, chmod 77 dbca. Done. So what else? Then I can give netka chmod 77 netka. I can give chmod 77 sql patch, because these are one shared between both grid and database. And I'll go to netka. Okay, fine. If I go to SQL patch, okay, fine. Similarly, I'll go to node 2 as well. So I'll take a session here, already node 2 here, U01 app, Oracle, CFG tools. And okay, here CFG tool already has the full permission. Okay, if needed, you can create all these directories. CFG tools, all these directories. Right here, all these directories you can create here. This dbca, netka, and sql patch on this node 2 as well. So right now it does not have any directories here, and already this cfg tool has a full permission. So Oracle is it has a privilege to create a directory inside this. So I'll just go back here, and I can click OK, and I'll rerun it. I'll rerun that dbc again. Okay, so now you got the screen. It has a create database and manage template. These all options are grayed out because this is a new server. I don't have any existing database. I don't have any database to delete. I don't have any pluggable, nothing I have. So I can manage templates, or I can create a database. So I'll just go with the create database. Okay, you can go with advanced configuration, or you can go with typical configuration. I'll go with advanced configuration. And I can go with the general purpose, or custom database or data warehouse. I'll go with the general purpose, and it's a real application cluster, and it's admin managed. You can go database creation is admin managed or policy managed. So either of one option you can select, and both the nodes are selected. Okay, you can prefix. I can go with the RAC CDB. I can go with the global name RAC CDB, and then the SID prefix is going to be RAC CDB, and it's going to be container database. If you want to create pluggable database, you can select pluggable database, or if you don't want to create any PDB, you can uncheck this one and create a container database with one PDB, one or more PDB. No, I just want to create empty container database. Use a local undo table space for PDB, right? So I want undo table space should be specific to the PDBs. Create empty container database. If you want to create one or two PDBs, you can select here. So I don't want to create any PDB right now. So go next. use the following database storage attributes, right? So it's going to be ASM, and the database file location is going to be my data disk group. Okay, so if you want to use your redo reco and all into some other group, so we can do it. So right now I want to use this OMF, Oracle Managed File System. It has a lot of advantages. So right now my data disk group, I'm going with this one. All the data files will be going to my data disk group here, database file location, that is. Okay, now we'll define our FRA disk group to my record disk group. So I'll specify FRA, that is going to be my record disk group, and the size you can give whatever. If you want to enable archeolog mode, you can enable it. I'll enable archeolog mode later. I'll just go with without enabling the archeolog mode. And configure database vault. If you want to create your database vault, you can create. Configure label security, you can create it here. Right now I will not select any of that. And you can use automatic storage, automatic shared memory management, or automatic memory management. Any of that you can use. I'll go with automatic shared memory management right now, or else you can go with automatic memory management. And this is a processor and character set. Character set, you can go with the Unicode, that is the AL32 UTF-8. That is a universal Unicode. It has all the languages. And you can go with Windows, this one, whatever it is, based upon your needs, right? So you can select appropriate whatever the languages or character set. And connection mode, it's a dedicated server mode. Go next. Automatic memory management option is not allowed when the total memory is greater than 4 GB. Okay, so we'll go with shared memory management. Let's see what the shared memory management is. Okay, shared memory management is fine. And you want to run this run Clufy verification period? No, I don't want, because we already ran that just now. And also I don't want to configure my EM. And then I can give the same password for this sys and system. Next. And create database, and you want to specify any post creation script. If you have any specific script need to be run after the database creation, you can specify here. If you don't want, you can just leave it. And generate, you want to generate any your database creation script and all, you can select here. And you can see all installation parameters here, db create file test, and then all these parameters you can see here, control file, and your db record file test is reco. All this you can select your db create online log test and all. You can checkbox this one, and you can define that particular path. So right now I'll not do it. I'll go with the default option, whatever it is. And you can see customize storage location, you can customize it. You can see, right? So when you do customization here, you can define your data file where you want your redo log file, where you want to go with the threads and how many threads you want. I think if you want, you can add few more redo log group, or or you can remove few more, like whatever based upon your needs. So I don't want to go with any of the customization right now. So go with the next default, with the default option. The specified FRA size is less than recommended value. So what's the recommended value? Fast recovery area size should be at least 3 times the database size, right? So okay, so fine. Then in that case, what is my FRA size? We'll check it out here. 3 GB. So that's the reason it is not allowing me to proceed further. Total is approximately 30,000 MB, means 30 GB, right? So I'll just ignore it and I'll proceed further, because that right now for the installation you don't need it. You don't need to worry, because my installation will not be needed all those the 12 GB of FRA at one shot. That's just a recommendation. That's the best practice it will give. So once the installation is done, I can increase the size. I can add some more disk and I can increase it. So you can that's just a warning, and we ignored and proceeded further. No, since the point to be considered here is, this is my lab environment. I have a limited resources, so that's the reason. All these issues and space issues and network issues and memory issues. It's common here in the lab environment, right? So when you're working with the real time, any of the client or customer environment, so you won't face these kind of issues. Those are like having enough memory, enough storage, and that there it'll go smooth. But you should know your basics, like when the space is needed and how much is the space needed, and all those. But you should be if you do practice here in your lab environment and all, you'll be more confident when you are working with a real time environment, right? See, you got the summary here, you can read it out. If you want, you can save this particular response file, db underscore create, and save, and then you can finish your installation so that it will start the database creation. Okay, so database creation script, it's generated, and now started with the creation of my database. Clone database rack cdb creation is in progress. Copying data files, creating and starting instance, and you can verify all those in your ASMCMD. You can go into data ls, and you can see RAC DB ls, and it got the password file now, and you can see this is a particular log file. You can tail this particular log file, tail -f, connect to instance RAC DB, RAC DB, and it's connecting to RAC DB instance, and you can verify all those. You can go back and you can check. So if we grab yes-mon, you can see RAC DB instance is created here. And if I can go back, user and app, Oracle product, c db home, dbs, you can see init file, it'll start uploading all the init file, password file, everything. You can see here it started the instance and started the cloning steps here. Our main clone steps, you can see all these log files, right? It has set new name to data file 127. Okay, restore data file 134. Okay, all done. Set new name, and this is seed database, right? If I can again go back to ASM. Okay, so system file is restored here. I mean, the system file is created here. Then it will start the remaining files. This dbca is nothing but it will do the rman restore. If you can see here, right, in your when you install your Oracle home, that is user and app Oracle product 12c db home, assistant and dbca, there's a template, and inside that there are default backup files, right? c.database. So using these templates, it will do rman clone, right? You can see the tag here, and it will do this complete restore completed, starting database backup set restore, and specifying the data files to restore from the backup set, right? It is kind of your admin duplicate database. Okay, it started now. It started restoring few more files. If I go and check it out here, ls-l, you can see now system sysocs undo. Yeah, you can see, right, data. You can see this is a create control file script, create control file reuse set database to RAC DB, and this is my the script, data files and database name, right? So everything is here. Now user data file got created. You can see here calling 0db id. If I can do again ls-l, you can see user file also came here. You can see creating database is done, and
Sorry, copying data file is done, and creating and starting database instance is in progress. Shutdown database, startup no mount, and deleting dummy control file. Okay, done. And the control file, this one, the current control file, enable the restricted session, alter database RAC DB, open reset logs. Okay, done. So now temp file, you can see temp file got created. There's -l recovery catalog using target database control file instead of recovery catalog. These are the PDBs IDs. The root CDB, the container C database, and root database. Those are the default two databases, right? Two PDBs. Okay, so it is progressing now here. And we got the alert log as well here. You can refer this alert log also. Will give more details about instant startup, shutdown, all those. Okay, so at the back end, if you can see, it is restoring all this PDB seed data. When you create your container database, the PDB seed and root CDB both are like two CDBs are default for any of the CDBs. Any of the container database you can create the two PDBs. Like one is PDB $seed and other one is the root root CDB. Those are the default. It will come with any of your CDB. I'll show you once the database installation is done. I'll show you all those. Altering character sets, opening PDB $seed. So if I can go back here, -l, you can see, right, the control file, data file, online log, password file, and temp file. And if you see these particular alphanumeric, these are nothing but one is the root CDB and one is a PDB $seed. One is PDB $seed and one is a root CDB. When you install any of your container database, those two are mandatory. And if you create one more PDB later point, it will generate one more alphanumeric, this digit, how many digit it is. So it will create one more directory for that particular PDB. If I can go inside this particular PDB, you can see it has its own data file and it has its own structure, everything. And if I can go to other one, this one, right, temp file, it got created here. Right, these are nothing but like CDB. If you create one more PDB, as I said, it will create one more directory with that kind of name. It's going on. Okay, so it has done. Okay, it has set the current version 12c and home version. Okay, NLS language it has set. Okay, init RAC CDB temp. User name Oracle CFG2 logs dbca RAC CDB init RAC CDB temp.ora. You can also cat that one. That's a default init file. It will check it out. Okay, it's not there now. Once it is used, it will delete, I believe. If I can copy one more time, if I verify it, no, it's not there. So if I go here inside this, you can see all those clone log, all those temporary control file, everything you can see it here. Okay, the other CDB is CDB $root. When the moment you create any of your container database, these two are mandatory. One is this one and one other one is PDB seed $PDB. Okay, so if you see here, the creating and starting database instance is completed, and now it is creating the clustered database views. It is running the cluster data, the scripts which will create cluster database views. So for that, which script it is, I will show you if I can get it from this log file. Okay, so there's a particular SQL. I could have I could have captured that one. Okay, anyway, later we will check after the installation is done. We will check that particular SQL that execute xcon.sql. Some script is there. I'm not able to recollect that script name here. Here it is. You can see cat cluster.sql. It is just a one of the script, but it will run multiples of these kind. Okay, catcon.sql, catcon.pl, and there's so many scripts. So many script will generate my rack dynamic views and rack views. So a few of them are like this is the Perl script catcon, and then the cat cluster.sql is the one, and there are a few more which will generate my cluster views. You can see now it's running the data patch. You can see post db creation. Now it's a part of post db creation script, right? Creating a cluster database views are done, and completing the database creation. So one of the best practices, the moment you start your installation, any of the grid infrastructure installation or database installation or database home installation via GUI mode, it's better or good practice is to always tail your log file, and it will give you more of the information what it is doing. And sometimes it will it will take quite longer time here at this 22%, and you will be panic. You will not know what exactly happening at the back end, and you sometimes you will feel that it got stuck. But ideally, if you tail your log file, you will get to know what is happening at the back end. So and then you can take appropriate action based upon that, whether it is actually stuck here due to some network issue or some space issue or some memory issue, or it is doing a lot of internal script running. By tailing your log file, you will get to know all this more information. You can see, right, that this is a dbcl log. You will get it here, and the alert log you will get it from here. Completing database creation, that's a post step it is doing now. After util rp it has ran, and clearing AWR data, AWR cleanup is done. All these are post installation script. Post db creation setup.sql, right? So you can see all this. Starting database HA resource. Okay, so we are done. So if you want to change your passwords, you can change it here by clicking this password management. And if you want to set it for the password, some of the default schemas are users. You can you can see all these are default schemas, right? You can set it, or if you can leave it blank, you can lock it. You can lock those accounts, and later you can open those accounts, unlock those accounts. Okay, I'll just click close. Fine, so I'll just cancel this log, and I will just go back here, and I'll do ps-ef grep smon. You can see rac db is ready here, so you can set the environment rac cdb, rac cdb1, rac cdb1, and okay, let me get that Vora tab. Okay, Vora tab also not set. Okay, fine. I will set one more time rac env rac cdb, and this is my Oracle home. Okay, CRS. Okay, srvctl status database -d rac cdb. Instance 1 running on node 1, instance 2 running on node 2, right? So similarly, you can go to grid user or the root user and .var-inv plus asm1 crsctl stat resource -t. And if you can see, asm is online, both the nodes. Listener is online, scan listener is online, management database is online, and where is my database? Okay, here it is, RAC DB. RAC CDB, right? Both the nodes, it's online. So quickly I'll connect to my database. dba show PDBs. You can see, right? So PDB $seed is the default C container database. That's default CDB. The default PDB comes along with my CDB, and that's the container ID is 2. And container ID one is for CDB root CDB. Root CDB is the one default CDB, and then this is the PDB $seed is the default C database. And if you create your next PDB, that will be container ID 3. So that's it. And what else we can check? Okay, you can check config database, srvctl config database. Okay, so database unique name RAC CDB, database name RAC CDB, Oracle home and user, and your SP file inside your data disk group, and your password file is also inside data disk group. And these are the open option, and policy management is automatic, and disk group is reco and data, and your database instance and cluster nodes, all this. Okay, so now if I can connect to database, show parameter control. Okay, so my control file, one is under data disk group and one is under reco disk group, and show parameter describe $, or describe log file, describe $, log file. Okay, select member from $, log file. Okay, I have one is on data and one is on reco, one is on data and one is on reco, data and reco, and data and reco. I have 4 log files, and 4 are like multiplexed. One is, you can see, this group 2, this group 2, one is under data and one is under reco, and this group 1 is under data and one is under reco, and this group 3, one is under data and one is under reco. Similarly, this group 4, so this is log group 4, log group 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 4 log groups, and all are multiplexed, and control file also is multiplexed. One is under data and one is under reco. Okay, so that's it. I think that's it for the today's session. So that is about RAC database creation and configuration, and some of the post checks, like as I said, go with this config database, and again you can check this one also, right? Anyway, we'll check it here. Connect back to your database. You can see here, right, your instance number and instance number 2, and this is node 1, node 2, RAC DB1, RAC DB2. Right, so next you can, what else you can check, and apply patch. I will start in my next session. I will do this patch applying and setting environment and recompiling Invalid objects, and also creating some of the PDBs, and creating services for those PDBs. So these all post checks I'm going to cover it in my next session. So, and then this is a particular mass document, as I already showed you here, right? This is a real application cluster installation guide, so you can refer this guide, particular guide. That's it for today's session. Tomorrow probably I will start with this post install check, like applying the patch and running the data patch, and creating some PDBs, and creating some services for those PDBs, and how you can access and how you can set up all those TNS and listeners and scan listeners. So thank you guys.